Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear viewers, thank you and well done for everything that you've gone through this day. We thank the Lord for blessing us. We cannot take it for granted that His grace is abundant and it actually takes care of us. Today, I just want to share with you something small from the letter of Paul to the Corinthians, the first letter of 1 Corinthians, chapter 16, verse 13 to 14, only 2 verses, and it reads like this: Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. Let all that you do be done in love. This was Paul speaking to the Corinthians. The Corinthians were people who were living in Corinth, and Paul was with them for a given time, for some time. He had preached the gospel to them, they had accepted Jesus, and their church was actually growing each and every day. Corinth was located in the city, or it was a city in Rome. So it was actually a very nice place to stay in. It attracted a lot of business, attracted very many people of different categories, different countries, different tribes, and so on. So the church in Corinth was a very nice church, blessed with very many spiritual gifts. Actually, it was growing all the time. It was blessed by God. But after some time, these people started taking God for granted. They started doing things that even a sinner could not do. That's when Paul wrote to them saying, "People, you are doing even what pagans do not do, or what pagans cannot do." For example, a man sleeping with his own daughter, a stepmother sleeping with his own son, with her own son. So you can just imagine the tragedy of these people. They had forsaken the Lord, they had forsaken their humility they had before in God. In one or another, they had sinned against God, and actually they were just enjoying their own sin. Because telling them about their own sin, they kept on boasting. Most of the Corinthians, there were people who were eloquent, educated, rich people, tycoons, and they felt they never wanted God in their lives. They felt they had it all. They had enough of it all. But Paul wrote to them this letter and the second one and other letters. So Paul wrote this letter when he was responding. There are people who came from Chloe's house. They came to Paul and told him, "Paul, you know what is happening? The church in Corinth is actually becoming something we do not understand. It is becoming something we do not understand. People are behaving in weird ways. Those who are like believers are acting like non-believers. Their belief, their faith is just in their mouth, but they don't act like believers. They do not act like people who love God. They don't act like people who believe in God." So, in other words, the church had started dividing. Division was happening. People were loving their own teachers. That's when Paul says that the people, they just want to hear what they want to hear in their ears. In other words, they want someone who is preaching to them to preach what they want to hear in their hearts. And false teachers had come up at that same time. But Paul, writing a lot of things in this letter, he ends with this, because this chapter 16 is the last chapter in this first letter. That's when he speaks in 13, saying, "Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men." In other Bible verses, you find it saying, "Be brave, then be strong." So these words are not so different from what we also need to understand in this current time that we are in. Because even the same time that we're in right now, there is a lot of chaos in the church. People taking the church for granted, taking religion for granted, taking God for granted. Some think they have it all, they have already made it in life. Some think their own wisdom, their own knowledge is just enough to help them live and survive in this world. where some people don't have any time to go and fellowship in church, busy doing their work, busy attending to their businesses, attending to their families. But we are forgetting that everything that we have in life comes from God. Everything that we have in life comes from God. Besides, there are those who are believers, but amidst believing, out of challenges are also coming up. Sometimes you feel like forsaking your faith. Sometimes you feel like you should give up on believing in God. Sometimes you think maybe God does not exist, it's just a lie. In one or another, people are getting tired of believing and having faith in God. But I want to encourage you with these words. Stand firm in the faith. If you accepted the Lord and know that He is able and powerful and strong to save you, stand firm in the faith. Keep believing. Don't get tired of believing. No matter how the world gets, no matter how situations get wrong or get bad, do not give up on your faith. Keep believing. Keep trusting in God. Keep knowing that He is the one who watches. The Bible tells us that the eye of the Lord is on those who love Him. Therefore, what do I tell you? Stand strong in faith. Be brave to face every challenge that comes up. Be strong to keep spreading the gospel. Be strong in your faith, in your believing, knowing that God one day, He will answer your prayers. You could have made a prayer. You could have prayed for very many things. And it's now, years have moved on, months have moved on, weeks have moved on. You're not seeing the response. My dear, don't give up. Stay strong. Be watchful that you do not go astray. Be watchful that you're not defeated by temptations. Be watchful that you're not defeated by the devil. May the Lord bless you so much. Be watchful. Stand firm in faith. Be brave. Be strong. Above all, do everything with love. If you have your job that you're doing, do it with love. You could be working under hard situations. When the conditions are not favorable, your bosses are not treating you well, you're getting little payment, you're earning late, but love your job. You could also be having a family, having family members, but when things are not moving on well, the relationship is not okay. Struggles here and there, rejections here and there, but do everything with love. The ministry you're doing, you could be doing ministry in church, but when your fellow ministers aren't treating you well, but do everything with love. May the Lord bless you so much. Keep strong. Be watchful. Be brave. And may God give you victory over everything.